Boot up Arena this morning, and saw like the normal weekly Arena announcement notification sent out. And okay, cool, let's just have a look. Normally there's nothing, but we'll see. And hey, to my oh so pleasant surprise, we have some news. Inside this announcement, which all these links will be in the description as well. Pioneer comes to MTG Arena. They're updating the name, but most importantly, they're also bringing a few new cards, an extra kind of bonus Explorer anthology, if you will, and it will be renamed to Pioneer on the format, on the platform. Finally, Pioneer is here. Obviously, not all the cards. There is a list, which we will run through in a second. But yeah, there's some other changes in here as well. Battle of the Bridge, Borgamos, and Sanctuary kind of flagship ones of these. I think Sanctuary is probably like the biggest thing, though it depends where you are. And I think there's 12 cards total. 11 cards. And they're from like looking at Arena Championship 8, which was the Explorer one, and kind of comparing that with what the paper Pioneer meta looks like. You work out what the cards are. But we'll run through those in a second. Some other things, reprints and stuff. Now, if you have like 1 copy of Gauta from Foundations and 3 copies of some other version, you can pick which of these to use and put 4 of them in. You don't get stuck with the situation of having like, oh, I've got 1 of this art and 3 of this art, so it's making it really awkward to import decks and stuff like that, or have like mismatching arts. And yeah, that's all the relevant stuff. There's Final Fantasy stuff coming May 10th. That's pretty hype. Yeah, but if you know me, if you know the channel, I play a ton of Explorer and Pioneer. I say that because Arena's the only real place that Pioneer is. Well, Explorer Pioneer is played at the moment. We had Arena Championship 8. That's like the big event. And there's not any paper Pioneer on the horizon. It's not a format that's been used for any of the regional championship qualifiers going on, or any of the regional championships this year, or any of the Pro Tours this year. So hey, Arena's its basically only home. You can play it on Magic Online, but I've not checked the numbers, but I imagine that the queues are relatively unpopulated. With that being said, we have a list of cards. Like I said, each of these articles will be in there. There's a bit of an explanation here, and there was like 50 Explorer deck lists that got played in Championship 8. I'm looking at those of the Pioneer meta, but they've got a list of 11 cards. Some of these are super important. Some of these are kind of like, sure, filling holes. So, Battle of the Bridge. Black artifact card. Improvise, you tap artifacts up, cast it. Target creature gets -X on a turn, gain X life. Cool, cute, not seeing tons and tons of active play, but that's fine. But Borgamos is more of a combo card. Generally, you're trying to use the activated ability here, and either kind of like cheat it into play, or put that ability on something else. And you can discard lands to do damage. Okay, cute, okay. Encroaching Wastes. I have no comments. Kazul's Toll Collector is a cool one for like potential like hammer type strategies. You can pay 0 to attach a company you control to it. Again, not super popular. Mimetic Insight used to be the core part of like a Sphinx's Tutelage deck back when it was in Standard. It's a very cute card, a pretty cool card. That also I wouldn't expect to have much of an impact. Kind of like skipping through these. This is defeat kind of similarly. Destroy a forest, green enchantment, or green's planeswalker. Doesn't see tons of play, but is like kind of like completing a cycle, as we wasn't that in the kind of like Arab Devastation cards that got transposed onto Arena. Radloss Charm is the first kind of like big one. Does get played for some amount, but super versatile. One of the charm cycle. Exile target player's graveyard. Destroy target artifact. Each creature does 1 damage to its controller. Famously, that last mode was used like versus Splinter Twin and decks like that. Not super relevant at the moment. Sands of Vugan. This card seems super important. It's a land, taps are colorless, but whenever you cast a colorless spell with a convert mana cost 7 or greater, you can sacrifice Sands of Vugan, search your library for a colorless creature card. That one does not have to be that mana cost. Just any colorless creature card. Put it into your hand and then shuffle your library. Primarily, this has been played recently with Metalwork Colossus. That's probably the most recent development with this. But obviously, like all the Eldrazi type things, this is like a big card kind of missing from the format. There's then Triton Shorestalker, which is a Merfolk rogue and can't be blocked. Has seen play in some Merfolk builds, but there are a bunch of different kind of 1 mana unblockable Merfolk. But this doesn't mean that all the ones that are legal in Pioneer are now on Arena, which is if you want to play like 8 of them, you can do that, which is pretty cool. And then a Warping Whale, which is another kind of like Eldrazi card that's seen play in a couple of other different places. But pretty neat, pretty neat. Continue to monitor the developing Pioneer metagame, and there's a Pioneer Showcase event May 10th to 13th. This is really important, and this is like a bit of a surprise. One of the questions once we got Pioneer Masters onto Arena for Explorer was, okay, that's cool, what are they going to do with the other cards coming across? And this is kind of like good faith showing that, hey, we're going to add some more cards, kind of try and round things out, and if new things do come up, we'll keep monitoring the format and add new cards in, which is great. Shout out to Engulf the Shore, kind of my favorite card that's legal in Pioneer that's not on Arena. It's not doing anything that's like fun for everybody, but it is a cute card and is one that I really, really wish was on the platform. But that's my personal wants list. But hey, also the along with the Explorer to Pioneer name change, which will happen on May 10th, the format's ban list will match Tabletop Pioneers, meaning Tibalt Trickery will be unbanned. It's one of those like one of those weird things where like, hey, it's banned in the format because people do it quote unquote degenerate stuff. It's one of these where like so Tibalt Trickery was banned in Timeless, for example, or limited to one in Timeless, because they ran a bunch of historic no ban list events, and what kept happening was you had a bunch of non-games. You'd either have somebody playing Tibalt Trickery, in which case their opponent would just lose on turn 2, or you'd have somebody playing Triple Trickery and their deck wouldn't do anything, so they would just scoop. And it just meant that there was like a ton of non-games on the ladder, even though the deck isn't even that consistent or degenerate. It just meant that like either the game's getting conceded or the game's lost and over on turn 2. And neither of those are good at play experiences for the majority of the people playing against it. It is what it is, let alone to think what the mirror is like. But that kind of stuff was why it was banned. It just leads to a ton of like non-games and concessions. And so hey, that'll get unbanned. It'll be fine, I'm sure. Maybe I'll play it a bit on the channel. We'll see. But yeah, pretty short list of cards, but there's still some things like things will inevitably be printed that make cards that are not on Arena, but are Pioneer legal, good, or playable, or played, or desired, and hopefully Wizards will continue to put them onto the platform. And yeah, like I said, links to everything in the description, and the last article I pulled up was the one about the reprint stuff. This is very straightforward. It's just a case of, hey, if you've got multiple versions, you don't have to worry about, oh, I've got one of this and 3 of that. Like, if I have I think I personally have like 3 of one version of Thalia and 1 of the other, and I have to play 3 in 1. Or Krenko is probably a more recent example where I've been playing Goblins a lot. And I just have to like, oh yeah, there's like some random variants in arts and it looks weird. But hey, it's a nice quality of life change. The Pioneer stuff's super exciting. And I will be making some more content on the channel. I'm super happy that Wizards have kind of like doubled down and kind of like shown, hey, look, no, we are going to support this on Arena, and keep adding cards and everything. Which, hey, they said they're going to do. It's just one of those things where when the format kind of gets cycled out of competitive play, it's like, oh no, what's going to happen? And so, hey, things have been up in there for a little while, and we've got some reassurance, I guess. With that being said, Final Fantasy around the corner. And Pioneer on May 10th. So super exciting. If you're not already, please do consider subscribing to the channel. I make a ton of Pioneer, Explorer, I guess soon to be just Pioneer content, featuring decks from like the top of the meta to the kind of like innovative stuff to like more brewery type things as well. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy some stuff. Right, thanks for watching. Peace out. Have a great day.